My first reaction to the ads was that a lot of them are trying to make you feel cool by smoking cigarettes. And I have them on the side here, so I'm looking at them as I talk about them. But for example, there's one with a guy on the front. He's in front of a city and he's got like a suit on. His hair's slicked back. He looks very professional and he's kind of smoking a cigarette down like with a smirk. He looks like a businessman. He looks expensive, maybe rich. So I feel like they're trying to promote like that kind of lifestyle with cigarettes. There's another one which originally I thought was supposed to be like a woman superhero or supervillain. It's definitely not that, I realized, but it still has like a cool aura. So the whole cover is green. She has a cigarette in her mouth and then some smoke coming out of it, and it says stir the senses. So I guess it's supposed to, talk about how like it'll make you feel. And she kind of, I don't know, she looks like a supervillain to me, but her arm is also like in a shadow almost going down. So I thought that was interesting. And then there's another one that had kind of the same idea. It's a guy, I'm not sure if he's playing a guitar or a cello, but it's some kind of instrument, and he's got like a top hat on. He looks kind of sly, his one eye's covered, and he has a cigarette in his mouth with the smoke blowing up while he's playing the instrument. So I feel like they're trying to make these people seem cooler doing these everyday things like playing an instrument or just like going to work. So yeah. And then in terms of the text, what claims do the ads make? There was a few I noticed that talk about how they're toasted. And it says, for example, the one says 20,679 physicians say Luckies are less irritating. It's toasted. And then another one says toasting removes dangerous irritants that cause throat irritation and coughing. I thought that was interesting. I'm not sure if that's saying that it'll help your throat in general if you have a cough, or if it's just saying compared to other cigarettes, it won't make your throat irritated and it won't make you cough as much. But yeah, there was two different sections that kind of mentioned that. And then the other thing is there's multiple ads that talk about cigarettes for weight loss, basically, or to stay skinny. So there's one, the cover of women's cigarettes category says Virginia Slims, and it has a small lady on the front smiling, holding a cigarette, I guess basically saying that the cigarettes would make you skinnier. And then there's another one which has a larger man kind of in a shadow, like in black, half reaching up, and then a smaller man in front of him like fully reaching up for the cigarettes. So that one's also saying, it says reach for a Lucky instead, I guess, instead of like food, instead of overeating or whatever it is they're trying to say. But that one I thought was interesting because like the guy in the back, the larger man, isn't fully reaching up like the smaller man is. But yeah, so it seems like they're trying to promote that cigarettes help with weight loss. And what kind of authority does the ad offer or reference? There is multiple categories for doctors. So there's one that's doctor smoking, and there's a ton in there. Sorry, just clicking on it so I can open it. My Wi-Fi's not working well. There's a ton in there that talk about how this cigarette brand is better than this one. So I think there's one with Camels, saying that Camels are the best for not getting throat irritation. And then there's Lucky's, obviously has a few that I can see already that talk about throat irritation. So yeah, they have doctors. And then there's also a whole section of scientific authority. This one says, No Unpleasant Aftertaste by Chesterfield. And there's a ton in there that have like scientists or scientist-ish looking people talking about cigarettes. So yeah, it seems like there's a lot of medical background and scientific background that they were trying to push. Obviously, that's different today. Doctors don't really promote smoking. And then these ads play on basic human emotional response, as do as today, how are these ads similar and how are they different. So in terms of similarity, I guess in terms of the similarity for these tobacco ads, just to any ad in general, there's a whole section on children, and in ads, not for smoking, but for like a lot of food ads or clothing ads, I always see children in them, even if they don't have to be. So for food ads especially, I see they're usually like families, and the kids will always say something like, like this food is my favorite or whatever. Sometimes for clothing ones, like there's a mom and she'll be like getting dressed or like putting on different clothing, and then like her kids are running around in the background. So I think a lot of ads put kids in them because they think that people, I guess there's a high importance on young people and children. So yeah, and then in terms of how are they different, tobacco ads that I see today are usually against smoking, so I'm not really sure. I don't see a lot that are like for cigarettes. I usually see a lot that are like against vaping. But yeah, doctors definitely don't promote tobacco anymore. I never see an ad that says like doctor approved. It's always doctors against tobacco and against vaping, so that would be the biggest difference. I guess there's not as much like authoritative support from doctors or any type of medicine because we've found out that they're bad and they give you cancer pretty much. So yeah, that would be the biggest difference between tobacco ads back then and today.